All right, welcome everybody to today's show. This one's going to be fun. We're going to be talking about this idea. I've got it right here, so don't worry about it. This is a good one. It is how my AI cloud employee booked 101 sales meetings in 2 weeks. I had to read it to believe it myself, but I'm going to show you how here in just a minute. To do that, I brought on my friend, my co-host, my amigo, Steve Air. Steve, how are you, man?
Way too long. This is like
that's
flashback.
right. Steve was my intro into podcasting. And what year was that, Steve? That would have been 2018.
1832.
No.
It's been forever. It's been forever.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I was thinking more
like 2017.
Okay, that could be right.
Yeah.
We had the Sales Acceleration, Sales Secrets podcast. Actually, I was just on with Brandon Bornanson. He's still doing that. He still got he took that
nice
and ran with it, right? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think so. I left you with it, and then you made it bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Anyways, it's still out there, but he's got a voice for radio. Want to dive into this topic, but before we do, man, tell us some of the things you've been up to. Tell us, obviously you're working with me here at Signals, but give us the quick overview.
Yeah, just went and worked at IT company for a bit, then got into AI with a CS AI organization. Then when Dave came to me with the opportunity to come over here and work over here at Signals and start to help to build this out, I jumped at it.
I love it, man.
Haven't looked back.
Well, it's been fun working with you the last few months. I've been hanging around this place. So let's dive into this topic at hand. I want to share something because, there was something that kind of spurred this a little bit. Let me see, share my screen. Yeah, I've got it. I know how to do this. Just relax, everybody. All these different tools and how you do it. So you kind of pushed this out, but there was this LinkedIn post, and I mean, I kind of knew it, but I didn't know. I ended up reposting it, and we had a little, virality now is, I guess, whatever you say, but bunch of comments, bunch of people hit me up. I know they hit you up. It was this idea that you had 101 meetings in 2 weeks. You showed the calendar. I didn't really believe it, I think, until I saw it, but ultimately it was big enough that was the whole reason for today. Like, let's dive into what happened, how it was done, etc. So start at the beginning. Give us your version of this real quick, and then I'll dive into maybe some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we've been holding these sorts of events for years and years, right? Since I've been here for about 3 years, we've been holding these events, and pre-cloud employees, it's been me and my teams kind of smiling and dialing, following up, seeing what people need, seeing if they want to talk more. And we fully are eating our own dog food. And so we said, great, let's have one of our cloud employees follow up and let's see if we can make that work.
I know, little did you know it would kind of like blow. Because at first, weren't you like, Gabe, you didn't even, marketing, you didn't even, this is bad on us.
At first, I thought, like my calendar gets used to test stuff a lot with our software. Right. And I thought, okay, it's a lot of tests. And then over the weekend, I'm getting pinged that, stuff's getting on my calendar. I'm like, wow, our team's working hard over the weekend. That's impressive. And then I look at my calendar. I'm like, holy crap, I got to get to bed early on Sunday because Monday's a busy day. And I look at Tuesday and then Wednesday and then Thursday lightens up and Friday. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to by the time I get to Thursday, I'll be able to be okay. Nope. By Tuesday, I was booked up through the rest of the week, and I went home exhausted on Friday. I come in on Monday, I'm thinking over the weekend, all right, well, at least it won't be that bad. Nope, it was even worse. The following week. It was bigger the second week.
What was some of the reaction? Because people, I think you were so busy. People in the office didn't really, they were just like, Steve's just like locked himself in. Steve's locked in this week. It was like there was so much going on that I think there was some comments, certainly from Dave and just like, hey, what is Steve doing? Or something.
Yeah. So Dave's kind of like, what's Steve doing? Are you moving deals through the pipeline? And the answer was for 2 weeks, no, I'm not. And so Dave, comes in my office and he sits down and he goes, Steve, you work about as hard as anybody who's ever worked for me. I'm like, that's awesome. This is good. This is good. Because also, by the way, I didn't have time to put in notes, follow up, send emails. Yeah. And so I was staying afterwards, sometimes till 11, 12 o'clock at night, getting everything in and then going to bed and come the next day. And so he goes, Steve, you work about as hard as anybody who's worked for me, but you need to work smarter. I was like, all right, Dave, tell me more. Let's learn. And he goes, you're prospecting so much, you're not moving stuff through the pipeline. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you're setting all these new meetings. And I'm like, I take my screen, I turn it around. Dave, look at my calendar. He goes, that's exactly what I mean. All these brand new meetings. I'm like, Dave, I didn't set a single one of these. Because what?
I don't know. Yeah, look, like I said, there was so much going on.
All of a sudden it clicks. It clicks that like, oh, Sloan, she's quite possibly the best BDR that's ever worked for either of us. Like,
yeah,
set all those meetings.
So funny, man. And I know he like ran out of the room and was like, hey, Mike, come look at it. He was like, what, everyone gathers around, but obviously some poor communication on the marketing team's part. But
worse things have happened. Then I've got a ton of meetings. I just learned that I need to put time in my calendar to actually do some of the administrative stuff if you got something like that going. And I learned that, schedule some
guys that. I mean, it was 101.
Yep.
And then it was 45 week 1, right? And then was it week 2? Oh, I guess just the difference there. 56. Yeah, 50. So 45 and then 56. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you take that. That's at least 5 to 10 meetings a day. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, and when you consider too that like how many of them held, because we've all had those meetings scheduled, and then you get like 50, 60% hold, whatever. This hold rate, number one, they were qualified. I mean, they were really qualified.
Some good people, yeah.
Great people, had some awesome conversations. Number two, they showed up. Like because they were qualified, because she actually was able to get some interest in actually having the conversation. The people wanted to show up to them. Great.
I love it, man. All right. Well, let's dive in then for a minute. Appreciate the quick overview. Let's dive in and then walk through just kind of how, the how behind it, because that's what I got hit up on. Mine, and I know yours, a lot of people were like, wait a minute, I mean, they see these things on LinkedIn, right? There's a little FOMO, but ultimately people are like, how did that happen? And what I would probably say, you guys, it's not the summary would be, it's not rocket science. It's actually just a real structured follow-up that you actually do. And oftentimes we have SDRs. I love them. I was one of them. But you'll see that the secret was only doing what we always preach to do, which is a very structured and rigorous follow-up. But all right, let me dive into a couple things here. Steve, I know you get asked this a lot. It's what's the difference between an AI agent and a cloud employee? And you kind of mentioned cloud employee. Sloan is someone who, so just so we're all, on the same page there. We kind of say an AI agent, you guys, it's a little more simple. It's going to be task-based. It's going to be deterministic by nature. Think if this, then that. Think brittle 1-2 step and 8N type diagrams. That's an AI agent. When I say cloud employee, I'm talking about something more complex. I'm talking about something that's autonomous by nature. I'm thinking more job-based than I am task-based. And also that core concept of omni-channel. Can't just be one piece. It's got to be phone and email and chat, et cetera, et cetera. So when we say cloud employee, that's more what we're referring to. And Sloan is the event follow-up cloud employee that was interacting there with Steve. So what did Sloan do, or what does an event follow-up cloud employee do? They generally help with events. And so at a high level, Sloan she was working to kind of get people to the event. And that is one area that helps, because sometimes you have to start to ingrain, hey, Sloan is going to be part of this event. So when people see it, when they get signed up, they see it when she follows up, they start to bring that trust a little bit more into the process. I'm going to hit on that in just a second, but trying to actually get people there. Once they're on, Sloan is then following up and saying, hey, we got a new speaker. She's kind of the concierge, if you will, for the event. And then what we were talking about most today was, how do we actually do that fast follow-up? How do I make sure that I follow up, get that booked meeting, and see if I can ultimately turn these events into pipeline? And Steve, I think that's the challenge we're seeing in the market right now is, as marketers, events are becoming more and more popular, but I don't know if they're getting the ROI, right? It seems like we're hearing people do them more, but it feels more like it's fun and flashy, but it's not are you hearing that through some of these dialogues and conversations?
Yeah. It's not turning into anything. It's great. It's good to get the word out, but it's not converting into anything tangible, anything real.
It's hard. And you see this process. Guys, I've been doing marketing for, I feel like 1,000 years, but it's more like 20. But it's not rocket science. But Steve, man, if I look at each part of this process, it's harder. The leads take time to get there. Maybe we skip some follow-up, maybe we miss some, maybe we only do email. And so that is part of the point. Like, can you actually follow this process? A cloud employee can't. And sometimes our internal teams, they struggle with this type of thing. So, okay, let me walk you through kind of then what happened on this. So again, we were talking about one particular event, and this was our AI Revenue Summit. Steve kind of mentioned that. Awesome event. If you haven't seen it, great speakers, great content. I would go check it out. AI Revenue Summit. This wasn't meant to be a plug, but you should check it out. But we ran this. It was just a couple weeks ago. Had 2,500 people sign up. It was pretty cool. So what basically happened was Sloan was our person for this event. As I said, she was getting people there. She was during the event, she was around it, and then following up, she was there. So when you went to the event the first time, guess who's in the bottom right-hand corner, Steve, right? So that ultimately is Sloan, and that's sometimes where people first, and you could chat with her right there, so you get kind of that first interaction. But here's a couple other the things, and I just wanted to demonstrate the way she was then running through that flow. I'm actually going to switch here. Wonder if I can do that. Sorry, I'm not the most tech adapt person. Can I bring this over? Will you see that? No, I don't know. Let me switch 1 second, because I want to walk you through that actual design here. I think it's kind of cool. Here it is. Yes. Okay. So this is the actual live page. Sorry, I was showing you a screenshot before, which I'll go back to. But this is our actual live page. Yes. Okay. So again, Sloan's here, and I could just interact with her right here, and you can see her messages change. This isn't your typical workflow bot, though. Steve, what's the difference between kind of that chatbot flow, the old school chatbot, and like a generative AI kind of chatbot?
If you've ever had to build out a chatbot, it is painful because you have to think about every possible permutation of what they might answer. You're thinking workflows. This, you train the chat on, the subject matter, give it the knowledge base, and then, hey, your job is to do this and answer questions and go. It can do it. And it doesn't care like what off the wall question it asks. It can handle it. It might say, hey, let's bring this back to talking about the AI Revenue Summit, but it can handle, you don't have to think about it. It's much easier to set up and much more versatile.
Yeah, I like that. And it's funny, I think chat is kind of table stakes, but man, I still see a lot of workflow based chatbots versus kind of the generative AI. And I'm like, if you haven't already done that, you guys just change it. That's crazy. As Steve said, I think those are getting to be pretty old school. Anyways, again, Sloan was part of the event during the event, and we saw people kind of chat with her. This was one thing. And again, this is just a little bit of a marketing play, but when people actually signed up, and I know we're on demand here, but go with the idea, that probably should work. Yeah, one of the things we'll see, and again, it's swarming. So you'll see Sloan right here saying, hey, thanks for registering for the event. I'm Sloan. I'm around. You probably saw some emails before the event. You saw me as a chat, but I want to see if you can get that strategy session booked up right now. And she was looking to see if she could get Steve's time right then and there nailed down. So again, now you've got kind of the pre-event warm up. During the event, I've got chat. When I register, I've got kind of this interaction layer here that you basically see. And I thought this was a pretty cool idea from the team on that one. Let me then show you as well the phone interaction. So a lot of people were like, who is this Sloan? Who was it? Abe. I think Abe hit me up. I got a call from Sloan about the event. Pretty good, Gabe. Anyways, let me call Sloan real quick. Let's see what she said, just so you guys can kind of experience that. And you'll notice a couple things, but let me give it here.
Hi, Gabe. Sloan here from...
Hey. Yeah, sorry, Sloan. That's awesome. You recognized who I was based on some of the data probably in your system. I just got registered for the event and I wanted to ask you some questions, Sloan. Is that possible?
Fire away. What's on your mind?
Yeah, can you tell me what a cloud employee is? I don't get it.
Absolutely. Employee is like an AI-powered teammate that handles client-facing...
Got it. Sorry, Sloan. Marketing. Sorry, I'm actually on a webinar. I don't have a ton of time to talk right now. What do cloud employees do on the weekends, Sloan?
Great question, Gabe. Employees like me don't really do weekends. We're always on, ready to help 24/7. No vacation.
Wow. Okay, you're dedicated Diane here, dedicated Sloan, I guess. Why do they call you Sloan, Sloan?
Great question, Gabe. I think they went with Sloan because it's got a nice ring to it. Friendly, approachable, and just a little bit.
I'm just totally. But Steve, we should have prepped for this. I'm like, I have no idea.
I'm thinking Ferris Bueller's Day Off every time I hear Sloan.
That's right. That's a good one. Sorry, right? Sloan, we're in the middle of a webinar here. Anyways, yeah, I would love to do a strategy session. I thought the event was good. But yeah, I'd love to meet up with the sales team, maybe 2 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. Is that possible?
Absolutely, Gabe. Let me confirm. Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 12 p.m. Mountain time.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, you guys get the idea. She'll probably give me a call back here. I think she's programmed to do that. But so that was pretty cool, Steve. So that was a lot of people were getting phone. And again, just like you normally do, kind of the standard cadence there. It's a little harder to demo the email, but I wanted to I do think it's important to see some of these different channels at play. So let me go back to my
one point I wanted to make while you're pulling that up. I want to make a point about the form is when after they fill out the form, the fact is Sloan doesn't necessarily offer that meeting to everybody because she's able to understand, okay, based off of who they are, the email or whatever they fill out.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, there is intelligence there. It's just not an automatic thing.
Yeah.
She's only offering that meeting when it's someone that is in like an ICP.
You're right. Good call out on that front. So,
yeah.
And then again, on the email front, a little bit harder to demonstrate real time because I want to keep moving here. Yeah. You basically, she ingests some of the stuff after the event. Hey, I saw it. And what you're going to see here is an agentic email. Look, I've been in marketing for 1,000 years. So I've built so many sequences and I built so many nurture tracks and HubSpot and stuff. But to see agentic email where based on info, she's going to personalize something and shoot out a note here. And then I just use me as an example. But you write her, you put some stuff, and then you're going to see not a scripted response, but again, an agentic response come back 3, 5, 10 minutes, something like that. It is like other channels, but I don't know, email to me is so much more fascinating, Steve, when it comes to
it. Is because it's not a template. It's not a template. And unlike a template, that's where I do the whole, hey, bracket, first name, bracket.
Right.
It's you can respond to it. And so if someone has a question, they can respond to Sloan and ask, and Sloan will respond back.
Yeah.
I've never had a template do that.
Working towards, as Steve kind of mentioned, like, hey, we want to answer questions. We want to be helpful about the event, the keynote, you need the recordings. She sent, I can't remember how many people, because that was a big question. Hey, I wasn't able to attend. Can you send me a link to the recording? Sure. So she ends up just doing that. But the goal was to move these people down the funnel. Hey, if you liked it, why don't we talk about how this could potentially look in your business? And ultimately she did do that. And phone, we obviously, if you want to call Sloan, by the way, here is her number. Just don't abuse it too much. But anyway, so again, kind of in summary on that, you guys, is it wasn't rocket science, right? Like I know a lot of people hit me up and were like, hey, how'd you do this? Was it real? Was it cheat? And it actually was following the basics, pre-event, during event, swarming after the event, actually sending the emails, actually responding quick to the email, immediately following the event. My goodness, Gabe, that's amazing. Yeah, right after the event ended, guess who got on the horse and started doing? Sloan did. Phone calls and email. Well, we can't get the list normally for another 10 days and get it to my op. No, so.
And then how long does it take your reps to get through it?
It was actually the basics, Steve. It wasn't, but it was omni-channel. It was hitting all these different pieces. And ultimately, as Steve said, this is still the blurred out version, probably for the best there. But Steve, that's still, when I saw that, I was just like, you can't even, it wouldn't even be worth it to fake that. That'd probably take you 30 minutes just to put.
Oh my gosh. No, at least. No, trust me, it wasn't faked. And at the end of it, we had a 3-day weekend. And I was never more grateful for a 3-day weekend after those 2 weeks than I was then. It was good. It was real good.
I love it. Well, hopefully that was helpful, everybody, just to kind of, again, get a high level picture of what was going on. I know people were kind of wondering how this happened. So Steve, thanks for jumping on. And then a little bit of the details of the how, like how did it actually take place, and Sloan as a cloud employee jumping in and doing that. Steve, you've talked to a bunch of people, obviously, through this and others. Maybe as we jump today, what would be your, having experienced this, what would be your takeaway, or what would you leave with the audience?
First off, look at Gabe and I. We're not rocket scientists. We're not devs. We're not engineers. This is really accessible, and it's a lot more powerful than you think it is. You just got to decide you want to kind of get your feet wet and jump in. And if you need help, we're here to help. We'll show you how we're doing it. But this is all right, your fingertips, ready to go.
I love it. And with that, we do, if you guys want to, if you want to experience a cloud employee, we'll put a link in here, but, hit up Steve, hit up me on LinkedIn. Want you to experience these for a little, in a short time. Would love you, a little bit of phone, just so you can kind of, Steve, it feels like you got to just play at these, you got to experiment just a little bit, because you sit on the sidelines. Anyways, would love for you to kind of get your hands dirty. If you want to do that, feel free. We'd be happy to kind of see if we can't navigate those waters with you so that it doesn't feel so scary. So, okay, awesome. Woof. All right, 101 meetings, 2 weeks, done, dusted. Steve, thanks for joining. For everyone else, have a fantastic day. See ya.
Thanks, Gabe.